Going on, Seay Bears? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan C, and we're going to be getting into something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about My Engineer, and we're going to specifically talk about the characters and the actors and how they interact with each other, how they pertain to the story. So, if you are interested, stay tuned. So before we get into this, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you know whenever I upload. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. So this is a collaborative project with some of my friends on Twitter/YouTube, Jen, Jessica, and Lele. I'm gonna link all their social media and everything down below. Jen basically runs a blog. She just started it, but she dives very, very deep into the plots and the characters, just kind of the connections between, you know, the different aspects of a series in her blog. So yeah, and she also references the book as well as the songs in the series to show how they interconnect. But she does it in a way that doesn't take from the series being an adaptation of the novel. Which is what I really, really love about it. Lele and Jessica actually have a podcast called Thoughts on Why. So if you want to listen to something that's very entertaining as well as informative and just a really, really good discussion about series and just the different things that encompass a series, they have a really good podcast to listen to. They upload every single week, so you'll get something new every single week. And they don't just hit on the newer series, they also hit on some of the old BL dramas that we know and love. So when you get a chance, please check out my friends, and yeah, let's get right into this. So this little collaborative project is going to be called Gear Up, just because we are covering My Engineer, which is, so far, I love the whole dynamic of the show. One, I am a huge Sodas fan. Some of you know that from the people that have actually been watching my videos from the beginning. I'm a huge Sodas fan, and the fact that Lit directed this and I can see all of the just different filming styles and just how the story goes are kind of not really exactly from Sodas, but are paying homage to Sodas. It's awesome and it just warms my heart. But I'm not talking about film and stuff today. I'm actually talking about the characters and the actors and how they pertain to the story. We actually are going to be switching each week. So this week I do characters and the actors. Next week I'll be covering behind the scenes stuff. And then the week after that I'll be doing the tropes and the storyline. So it's just going to be a switch thing. So you get four different views on the series. So if you are interested, stay tuned. So first we're going to start out talking about the actual actors. I'm only going to talk about the main ones as well as a couple of the support characters, just because they are the most prominent parts of the story right now. We're covering episode 1 through 5, so I'm only going to talk about some of the characters today. We have Cooper Papasit, who plays Boone. We have Poi Krisanapong, who plays Dune. We have Mr. Perth Nakun, who plays Ram. Perth is my favorite. I don't know why. It's like as soon as I heard about the series and I looked at the actors, it's just I was drawn to him. Didn't know anything about the characters, didn't know anything about the storyline, I was just drawn to him. Specifically visually, but then as I learned about him more, his whole existence just took over me. But we're not here to fanboy fangirl. So Lei Tele plays King. Ryan Ping, who is a Chinese actor, is playing Mech. Intouch Napat. Every time I think of the name Intouch, man, he plays Boss. And Shane Nutchapole plays Fong. So I may or may not have murdered these names. I'm pretty sure I did. But if you know how to pronounce the names, let me know in the comments below. Like, spell it phonetically, I guess, for me. I don't know. I'm in the process of learning Thai. I'm just getting started. So my pronunciation is crap. So the way I'm gonna go about this is I'm just gonna talk about each pairing all together, and we're just gonna talk about the actors as we go through each pairing. So how does that sound? Okay, so first up are Cooper and Poi. Cooper isn't really new to the game. He's actually been in BL since I think like 2011, 2012. He played in a movie called My Name is Love. If you would like to check that out, I will leave official links down below. I'm not sure if it's subbed or not. Not sure about that. But if not, I mean, hey, we can all still watch it in Thai. I mean, you may not understand what they're saying, but you'll get the gist of it, I guess. Maybe. Am I the only one that like watches series in Thai and without subtitles? A cute little Poi that looks like Moonbin from Astro. And don't tell me you did not think that. Of course, Cooper plays Boone and Poi plays Boone. Boone is a very loud, obnoxious, but passionate type of guy. Like, not many people would sit well with his demeanor, I will say. But you have to admit, he has some great resolve. He's pursuing Boone, and he's not giving up. Even when Boone had to be gone from him for a week, he was like, look, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna let him do his report. He stayed strong, even though he almost lost because he was about to take that book to him. But he stayed strong and he pushed through, and yeah, all for the sake of his little dude. Boone, on the other hand, is probably almost the exact opposite, which, I mean, hey, it's this whole thing of we get what we hate and or opposites attract. So Boone is very innocent, almost to the point where he's too innocent. But we see a little bit of a different side of him when he interacts with Boone, because he doesn't take his shit. So he's very innocent, but he also has a little bit of a bashful side that comes out, and I think only Boone can bring that out of him, which is really awesome. Of course, he's also very playful. He seems like a family man in the beginning. He loves his sister, and he basically would do anything for his sister, to the point where she wanted to stay, you know, and play with her friend, which was Bone's brother. And he was like, okay, I guess, I mean, it was raining and everything, but hey, you could have been just like, hey, drive me, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, Boone and Boone have a very back and forth dynamic to them. They pretty much don't go an interaction without having some type of conflict, whether it be very small or a, you know, big thing. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that's necessary in a relationship, because everything is very upfront, everything is out there in the open. You can talk about it and you can resolve things. But just to kind of backtrack a little bit, Boone, of course, met Boone in the park, or it was either the park or like in front of the university, and Boone was asleep. Boone got in his face, and Boone got decked in the face. And it was love after that. Basically, he saw him, and I guess he thought he was cute, and he devised this whole plan of him taking him to the hospital and taking him out to eat, and then he proceeds to blackmail him with roses. He's currently making Boone bring him a rose every single day for a whole month. I'm really anxious to see what the meaning behind bringing a rose every day for a month is. Hopefully we can get into that maybe a little bit later or in another episode of this segment. But for right now, we're just gonna take it as face value. I should end with this as far as Boone doing. At first, doing it, I thought his innocence was the reason he wasn't taking Boone seriously, but I think it was just because of how Boone came off to him in the beginning. He came off very like smug, very overconfident, very not serious. And so when Boone actually started to get serious and started to be like, hey, I want this guy to be my boyfriend, then Boone just kind of like brushed it off and didn't really believe it and kind of was rejecting his feelings. But now they're getting somewhere, and now Boone is seeing that Boone is like, bro, I like want to actually date you. So I'm anxious to see what's gonna happen. I actually haven't watched episode 7 yet, so I don't know what's happening after this little play date that they had at the flying market with his sisters. So we'll see. Next, we're gonna move on to personally my favorite couple, King Ram King. Who cares? Perth cleared it up and said, like, do they really need an order? Like, for the show, yes, but do they really need an order? Does it matter? King, like, not king in the show, but like Perth is a king. So, but honestly, they are probably my favorite couple because of how their relationship works. It's so funny because Ram is this very, very like borderline mute individual. He only exerts energy when needed. I feel that. I exert a lot of energy unnecessarily. I really do. Not to people, but just like me being by myself, like talking in front of camera, I exert a lot of energy. A lot. I'm extra. And King is, honestly, I don't really know how to read King yet. To me, first impressions, he seems like he has a very docile nature, but at the same time, he's very meddlesome. If that's the right word to use, meddlesome. I mean, he kind of like, granted, he was just probably trying to help Ram, but he kind of just like inserted himself into the whole situation. But you know what? That's what love does. This man was instantly infatuated by Ram, which I understand. I understand, sir. So these two characters are played by, of course, Perth Nakun and Lay Tale. And so this is their first notable piece of work. So My Engineer is the first time we see Perth and Lay on screen. So honestly, right now they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. So I'm excited to see where their relationship goes. So I have a theory about King and Ram. So I don't know, I can't remember if it was in the show where it was mentioned or I like saw something on Twitter, but apparently Ram's name means beautiful. And I was watching the show and I was like, beautiful. Why would he be named Beautiful? Now, we don't know why his parents named him, Ram, of course. They haven't really touched on that, which I think they're probably going to start to go into that backstory. One of why he's a very, very quiet individual. Once, King and Ram themselves start to get closer, I think they're gonna uncover a lot of that. But I was watching the scene where King came home and he was talking to his mom and he started talking about, the origin of his name. And then, the fact that he greeted plants right when he came in, his mom even, called him out on it and greeted them before he greeted her. And he has plants literally everywhere. There's plants in the kitchen, there's plants in the living room, there's plants in his room everywhere, and he talks to them. Now, plants can't talk back to us. I mean, figuratively they can by, growing and flourishing and stuff, but that's their response to what we, give to them. So I was thinking, King has an ability to make plants grow. Not everybody can make plants grow. Not everyone can be a florist. Not everyone can, take care of something and cause it to flourish and, and blossom like that. I definitely can't. I'm pretty sure any plant that I touch is gonna die. It's gonna die. It's a 100% death rate. But I looked at it as King's developing relationship with Ram, both in their relationship and how he's gonna bring Ram out of his shell. Their relationship is budding, just like a brand new plant. It needs to be watered, it needs to be taken care of. And I think the persistence that King has is definitely causing that relationship to bud. Ram is starting to open up little by little. You can definitely see it on his facial expressions, very, very micro expressions, but you can see that he's starting to like kind of open up and let someone in. Now, as far as Ram himself, Ram's name apparently means beautiful. King takes care of plants and he causes them to blossom to become beautiful. So King is like the life source to Ram, and he is going to be the one that causes Ram to actually open up and blossom into this beautiful person that we all know is behind this very cold and stern facade. He's definitely going to warm him up. He needs sunlight. King is that warmth, and he's going to cause him to blossom and become beautiful and not necessarily become social, but just kind of expose that inner amazingness that is Ram. Because we know these things about Ram. We know he's very passionate about taking care of his friends and taking care of those who are close to him. That is one of the most amazing features or amazing things you can be, is someone who is very caring and very loving. I also feel like Ram kind of puts up this cold exterior because he's acting as a shield for his friends from the world. Because I've seen where some of his friends kind of take things at face value and they kind of like get caught up in things every now and again, especially Dune. But he has placed himself in that position of being that wall to protect them from it. And with that job comes the cold exterior and just the very nonchalantness, just the kind of like, I'm not going to entertain this at all if I don't have to kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? So that's my theory on King and Ram. I think you can tell that they're my favorite couple because of the whole kind of backstory to their characters. I think it's amazing. I don't know if I'm right or not about this theory, but I think it's amazing how even someone can get that correlation between the two. So great job lit, great job writers, and great job whoever wrote the adaptation, because I like that there is more to King and Ram than just like surface level. So moving on to our last couple, which is Mech and Boss. Now they are very interesting. This is a very interesting couple because I feel like it's one-sided. Mech is played by Ryan Pang and Boss is played by Intouch Napat. Now, Mech seems like a very quiet person at times. He's a little bit playful, but he's also very territorial and protective of his personal space. Now, I don't know if that's because of his love for Boss and the fact that he literally has a shrine in his apartment with pictures of him and things that he's kept from his various interactions and times with Boss. Which I think shrines are weird. It's just a weird way. It's like you're worshiping a person. You can love them and you can cherish them without worshiping them. But hey, to each his own. But yeah, he's very territorial. He's very protective of his space. Also, I feel kind of bad for him because his relationship with Boss is very playful. They play this husband-wife kind of dynamic. Of course, Boss is taking it as, oh, we're just bros being bros, whatever. But Mech is definitely taking this very, very seriously. Very, very seriously. He definitely has feelings, of course, for Boss. but his whole reasoning for not actually moving forward with those feelings is because he doesn't want to lose his friend, which honestly I can definitely see why he would not want to move forward with those feelings. Boss is very loud, obnoxious, corny. He's always hitting on females, Like, there's not a time that goes by, there is not one female that goes by that he does not try to hit on or spit some corny line to, all the time. And if I were Mech, I would be intimidated and I would be like, I don't want to say this because I feel like he does not like what I like. So you get where I'm going here. Boss is definitely the comedic relief of the series. Most definitely. But this is another couple that I'm really wondering how this is going to play out, because it seems definitely very one-sided, especially now that a girl from Boss's past has come into the picture and Mech is being like swooped away by all of the thirsty girls on set of their little movie that they're filming. So I'm interested to see how this is going to come together. It looks like it's definitely going to be a love triangle kind of thing, a one-sided love kind of dynamic to it. So we'll see where it goes. And lastly, we are not going to talk about another couple, but we're going to talk about an individual named Frong, who is played by Shane Nutchapole. Probably pronounced that wrong. So Frong was first introduced in the beginning when he was filming or taking like photos with Boone. It seems like Frong and Boone have a very rival-esque relationship, but at the same time, I feel like Frong is harboring feelings, like bad feelings for Boone because of something maybe that happened in the past. We see this when he talks about like how he's a, piece of shit, be careful around this man, talking to Dune, of course. I should probably like interject here and say that this is also Shane's like first notable piece of work. So yeah, Frong is a very interesting character because you would think, because Dune chose Boone instead of him, you would think that maybe he might go off onto like a bad path, but he actually ended up stepping back and saying that he's going to make sure Dune is protected and that Boone better not hurt his friend, which makes me believe that that has something to do with why Frong does not like Boone. So I feel like some past relationships are going to come to the surface later on in this series, and I'm excited to see what, because I live for the drama. But guys, that's gonna be all for this video today. I hope you enjoyed something that was a little bit different from the normal reactions that I do. Again, this is not going to coincide with BL Deep Dive that I'm going to be doing later on. This is more just of a collaborative project that me and some of my friends are doing. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my first impressions of the couples, of the actors, of their characters from episode 1 to 5. If you enjoy these type of videos, let me know in the comments below and I will definitely start making more. I definitely want to make sure you guys get a good mix of course, my first reactions to things as well as my thoughts about the series in depth. I definitely have more thoughts than just, initial reactions, so I'm excited to bring that side of me to you guys. But if you liked this video, if you like my videos in general, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification, and don't forget to hit that like button and comment down below. Also follow me on social media at JordyC, and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, also make sure you follow Lele, Jessica, and Jen. I'm gonna link all their social media as well as their other media platforms down below. So make sure you follow and support those guys. Like I said, they are awesome. The podcast is awesome, and Jen's blog is also awesome. Everything is awesome up in here. So if you like to get more of an in-depth opinion from other people about the series that we all know and love, then make sure you show them some love, guys. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye.